Hello, guys. Today we'll be talking about the latest economic outlook that was published by IMF. Um, as you can see on your screen, the pandemic that we are going through, it is going to cost a whole lot of uh, financial losses to many countries. So the projections for 2020 and 2021 are released by IMF. The IMF usually has two forecasts every year. One is in April and the other one is in October. This is the April forecast, and in the April forecast, they are projecting that almost every economy in the world will face a contraction. By contraction, I mean a negative growth, except for India and China. And I'll just explore this topic and present to you my analysis. So let's just go down the list and understand which economies they have considered. US economy will shrink by almost 6%, and that's just not a surprise because as you can see, in the news channels all around the world, that the crisis has hit hardest to America, and the kind of health systems that they have, and the kind of response that they have given so far is just a very very not that up to the par. US will definitely take the major hit in this scenario. Then the other things are the euro area. Now, to be honest, my personal opinion is that Britain was in a very tough spot because European Union is really not a very good project, and they wanted to get out of it. But when they got out of it, they are a very small country, so they cannot survive by themselves. It's like being between two nightmare scenarios. I would say I'm not surprised by the kind of prospects that the IMF has laid out for the euro area. So the four biggest economies in the eurozone are Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. Italy and Spain are the hardest hit. That everybody in the world knows that. France is also equally on par with both these two countries, and Germany, to be honest. Germany has Germany is the strongest economy in Europe, and they have tested a whole lot of people. They are not getting hit that hard as the other three countries. As you can see, Germany is going to contract the least among all the Euro area countries. So Germany is just like 7% decline. Japan, on the other hand, is to be honest, Japan started with very less growth to start with. So 0.7% was Japan's growth in 2019, and now in 2020 they're projected to even have a contraction of more than 5%. UK, again, they are dealing with a whole lot of issues. First thing is the Brexit thing that they wanted to sort out, but that didn't work out. So now the prime minister was in the hospital for a while. They are going to face a really pretty huge contraction of more than 6%. Canada is the country that I'm living in right now. Canada, the economy of Canada is very very dependent on America, and if the American economy tanks down, then definitely Canada is going to go along with it. So Canada is facing again more than 6% contraction in 2020. And then the other advanced economies, right, like South Korea, Australia, Denmark, the Scandinavian countries, even they are going to face a contraction of more than 4%. And to be honest, I'm not very optimistic about the 2021 projections because because you have decreased for so much in 2020. That's why the figures look pretty good in 2021, but nobody knows how long this pandemic is going to last. Unless a vaccine comes along, I don't think that the 2021 figures will really even catch up to what they are being portrayed over here. So let's go to emerging markets and developing economies. So in the emerging and developing Asia, China is projected to grow by 1.2% in 2020, and in 2021 they're projected to grow by 9.2%. That's just like an astonishing growth for a country that is as big as China. So it's almost 10%. China, people were saying that China is never going to hit more than 5% of growth, but now they're projecting it to go to 10%, 9 to 10%, which is again because they face a whole lot of contraction in 2020, and that's why they just want to compensate for that contraction. Now for India, India is projected to have like 1.9% growth in 2020, and then 7.4 in 2021. So if you can see, even in 2021, India and China are really the two biggest economies that have the most amount of growth. So the reason for this is just pretty obvious. I mean, they have a demographic advantage, they have a young population, they have a huge working force. So that just contributes to the overall economy. Then you have ASEAN 5. So ASEAN 5 are the economies of Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and Thailand. So that just excludes the five less developed economies of ASEAN, which are like Myanmar, uh, Vietnam, then Burma, and three more countries. So ASEAN 5 will also have negative growth. That is pretty obvious because ASEAN is like a bridge between India and China. So there are countries like Vietnam and then Indonesia, which are showing pretty good prospects, but surely they can't compete in front of India and China. That's just a fact. Then in the emerging and developing Europe, you have Russia. Russia is facing a huge demographic challenge. They are also, they have an aging population, and so even 1.3% growth in 2019 is a big deal for them. So I'm not surprised that they are contracting by more than 5%. Then in Latin America and the Caribbean, we have Brazil and Mexico. Brazil is, Bolsonaro is the current president of Brazil, and I just heard the news that he's going to fire the health minister. So Brazil is the giant of Latin America, but it's a very poorly run country. Brazil's last two presidents were faced in corruption scandals. So the corruption and the entire mismanagement of Brazil is just staggering. So I'm not surprised that Brazil had just 1% growth in 2019, and it's going to go less than 5 in 2020. Then you have Mexico. Mexico is literally just run by drug cartels. There's the Sinaloa cartel. There are many other cartels that supply drugs to America, illicit drugs, illegal drugs. So already it was facing a negative growth in 2019. So surely that's going to go more than 6% in 2020. In the Middle East and Central Asia region, Saudi is the biggest economy over there. So as you know, the oil prices are going down. So definitely that is going to have an effect on their GDP, and that is going to contract by more than 2%. In Sub-Saharan Africa, this is really interesting. So people are saying that Sub-Saharan Africa is the future of the world, because almost every other country in the world is facing declining birth rates. But in many countries in Africa, the birth rate is almost like 6 to 7 births per woman. But even then, Nigeria and South Africa don't have the kind of demographic advantage, or they don't have the huge land area, or English speaking population, or say just the usual things that India and China have. And so even Nigeria and South Africa, the two biggest economies in Africa, are going to contract by more than 3 and more than 5% respectively. Then you have the low income developing countries. So these are like the Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Pakistan. Surely they are not going to show any more promise as well. So combined they will have like a 0.4% growth. So India and China were the biggest economies in the world until 1900. From 180 to 1900, India and China dominated the world economy. And so I think this is just returning back to the normalcy. So this is not something unusual. India and China definitely have sustainable policies that are going to drive them in the near future. And so these two countries are poised to dominate the entire century in the coming years. So thank you for listening, and let me know your thoughts in the comments, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.